Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video, I'm going to be finally doing a full face review again, and this time around it's going to be on Hourglass Cosmetics. Now, Hourglass is a brand that I am very much familiar with because I have been using this brand for years by now, and the last time I had done a dedicated video was ages ago. So I thought to myself, it's about time to actually do an update on this brand and, to play around with a lot of these newly released products ever since I made my last video, because I feel like this is a brand where we constantly see like well curated new releases. And I really feel like this is a very well performing, elegant, more luxury brand. This is not inexpensive makeup. So I am always really intrigued if they are releasing something, if it's good or not. Most of the time their products are actually really top notch, but there are also some duds in today's video. So I'm going to let you know all of my opinions on these products, if I like something, if I don't like something. And I have accumulated quite a lot of products, so I can't even apply them all to my face in today's video, because I just have one face, but I'm gonna show them all to you. And if there is a relevant video to one of the products that I'm not applying actually, I'm gonna be linking that video in my description box, and I'm going to be linking all of the products featured in today's video in that description box as well. So if you are inspired by something, if you would like to try something out, I would really appreciate it if you could use my links. Now, these are affiliate links, but I'm not affiliated to the brand directly. Those are generated through my partner over at Shop My Shelf. So none of this makeup was sent to me in PR. Most of these products I purchased with my own money. Only 2 products were gifted to me with orders, but not even by Hourglass. So that was from a different online retailer, because I did purchase for a certain amount. And, sometimes you do get a couple of gifts for free when you do order a lot of products basically on a website. So that's what happened with Hourglass. But those are only 2 products. Everything else I purchased over years with my own money. So I did not, order all of these products in one go. That would have been crazy. I also just want to say I do have 2 brand new releases by Hourglass featured in today's video. I basically have 2 new lip products by them. So I'm going to share all of that with you in today's video. And if you do end up enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel. I would absolutely love for you to join. Don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming content as well. And also, please drop me a comment in case you have tried out any Hourglass products yourself, or if you're curious about something, or in case you have some additional questions. I'm always looking forward to read the comment section. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to have mentioned for the intro. We have a lot of product in front of us, so this video might be a little bit longer. I am not sure. I'm gonna try and make it, as quick as I can, but there's just so many products, so I don't want to waste too much time on the intro. So I would say, without no further ado, let's just go barefaced and let's kick this video off with the very first product. Alright, you guys, so I'm barefaced right now, so let's actually kick it off with one of my holy grail primers. This is the Vanish Airbrush Primer. I truly adore this primer. I have featured this in best of videos because it's just so good, and I've been loving this. This product is actually available in 3 different sizes, so you can choose from a travel size, which is 10 milliliters, the regular size, which is 30 milliliters, and the jumbo size, which is 55 milliliters. So I did pick this product up in 2022 when it came out. And yeah, I did empty the entire full-size bottle. This is the 30 milliliter version. I really love the bottle. It's so stunning. I tried to get, the remaining product out somehow, but it wasn't that easy, and I kind of failed to do so. I really tried my best to get every tiny drop out of this. It's kind of a narrow opening, so, it's not that easy to actually get the product out. But because I love this product so much, I just decided to get the jumbo size. And you know, this is not an inexpensive primer, but it's just worth it. I really love everything that this primer is doing on my skin, to be honest. I constantly reach for this. And I also feel like with this kind of packaging, it makes my life a little bit easier to get the last drop out of this. And the reason why I love this primer so much is that it really has like an amazing sort of texture to it. It feels like a gel, and when it goes on, it really does a lot of like soft focusing on the skin. So it's going to blur your pores, it's going to smoothen out your skin, and it also kind of prolongs makeup wear. And I just think this is definitely a product by Hourglass that is worth the price. I mean, if you watch any of my previous videos, you do know how much I love this primer. It's so good. So I'm gonna be clipping back my hair and then we can apply it to my skin. So as you may be able to see, my skin is a little bit more like shiny. It's because of my gel moisturizer that I use. That does not mean that my skin is necessarily that oily. It's not. It's literally just my skincare routine. So this one comes in really handy if I just want to get rid of the shine. Because this is one of these primers that is going to cancel out excessive shine. It's definitely not a glowy primer, because you may know I don't really like these. I mean, I already have my skincare that glows. And, you know, I always prefer more of like a natural to matte finish. So I really adore this primer look. So this is the texture. Has a little bit of like a white color. Feels like a nice sort of gel cream. I usually take this primer all over my face, as you can see. It definitely immediately reduced the shine on my face, and it gave me a really nice blurred soft focus finish. Also, it's just my skin kind of feels like silk, you know, it feels super soft, really smooth. I just really love this primer. So let's actually move on to the foundation. So Hourglass actually has a variety of different sort of foundation products. I did try out their cream foundation, the stick foundation. I'm not the biggest fan of a cream foundation in general, but their cream foundation is actually really pretty. So they also recently had released a new sort of foundation skin tint product, which is the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. Now, I was never intrigued by this product. It really does not interest me that much because, as I just said, I don't really like anything dewy or over the top glowy or radiant, and I'm also not very much like a skin tint person. I rather have a little bit more coverage in my products. So I thought for today, let's actually apply the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. Now, I know that this foundation is actually called Soft Glow Foundation. It is not over the top dewy or like glowy, luminous or radiant to a point that I could not bear it. To be honest with you, I kind of feel it's rather the opposite. You know, I don't think it's glowy at all, but that's just my opinion. This product is definitely not new in my collection. I have reviewed this foundation. I also had featured this foundation in Foundations of 2022, where I did rank all of the foundations that I've tried out that year. I'm just gonna say it. It's not my all-time favorite foundation. It's not bad. It's not my favorite one. To me, it's kind of somewhere in between. I've got some days where I do prefer this foundation. I kind of tend to prefer this foundation, oddly enough, a little bit more during the summertime than during the wintertime. And that's due to the fact that I feel like this foundation is not very hydrating. Not that I'm looking for hydration in a foundation necessarily, but I almost feel like this would be a foundation that is better for oilier skin types than for drier skin types. It could maybe accentuate dry patches or like texture on the skin. Doesn't do that for me necessarily. And also another thing that I don't really enjoy about this foundation is the shade range. Now this comes with 32 shades. They're cool undertones. They lean so peachy, and their neutral undertones lean very yellow. So I remember when I picked this foundation up when it was originally released, I ended up with so many shape mismatches. I have not really managed to find like a shape match that is 100%. Now, because it's winter time and I feel like I am a little bit fairer this winter than most winters, I can get away with the shade 4.5, and this shade is actually described as a light with cool undertones. Now, in the summertime, I actually feel like this shade is way too light for me, so I always have to mix in another shade with it. So I use this shade right here, this is the 4.5 as a base, and then I like take one drop of this shade, this is the shade 9.5, and I mix them together. And 9.5 is basically medium with cool undertones. Let's just apply it so you can see how this foundation performs on my skin. And as I said, because it's winter time, I'm gonna just use the shade 4.5 because I don't need to mix in a deeper shade. And yeah, if you're curious about all of the other shades that I've tried out, I gave most of them away, so I only kept these two around. I'm just gonna show you a clip of some arm swatches of all of the shades that I was able to try out. I'm always giving this foundation a little bit of a shake before I'm applying it. I think I'm gonna be applying it with a sponge, but it also works with a brush. I feel like with the brush, you can achieve a little bit more coverage straight away. Maybe let's do the sponge on one side and then let's do the brush on the other side. Like, hey, why not? So this texture, it is not too runny and it's not too creamy. It's going to run down my finger. Now I took 3 pumps out of the product, but can you see it's quite like a peachy shade? So let's apply a little bit on this side. The coverage level on this is pretty medium. You can definitely build this foundation up a little bit. However, this is more of a self-setting product. It's still flexible in the sense that, you know, when it dries down, you can still go on top with a second layer, but it will kind of self-set. So let's do one side of my face first with the sponge. So can you see on me, this product, it's definitely not glowy. Let's be real. It is more of like, I would even go as far and say this is definitely more of a matte finish. Definitely medium coverage though. Like I can still see my skin poking through. So I'm gonna proceed with the brush on this side. Now also this side does definitely require a little bit more coverage because I feel like there is a little bit more redness on this side of the skin. So let's see how well this is going to perform with a brush. I honestly feel like with the brush, you can definitely achieve more coverage straight away. I might just use a little bit more the brush on this side. So this is going to be the second layer. And I'm already feeling that this side is kind of drying down, but you know, you can still build this one up. I feel like if you would, you know, apply layer upon layer, this could easily look a little bit makeup-y. Also, another thing I forgot to mention with this, if you are using a brush, do tapping motions. Don't do sweeping motions with this if you want to build it up. I just can tell you from my experience that this foundation wears quite well. Like I never had a problem of this breaking apart on me, this getting super, super oily or like glowy throughout the day. I always felt like it looked pretty good, but it can be a little bit heavy, especially if you are applying 2 layers. All right, you guys, so my foundation is applied. As you can tell, I left out my eye area because we are gonna be moving on with the concealer, and this concealer, I freaking love this so much. So this is the Vanish Airbrush Concealer. So this concealer actually comes in 22 shades. You can also purchase a travel size first if you just want to try it out. I do have the regular size. This is the shade Pearl, and the shade Pearl is actually described as a light medium with a cool undertone. Again, their cool undertone leans a little bit peachier. The only thing is I don't necessarily love it for my under eye. I love this for spot concealing because this is so full coverage and it has a little bit of a dry texture. So to be honest with you, for my under eye, I always feel like it's a little bit too much because we're going to be doing a full face of Hourglass. I'm still going to put it underneath my eyes today. So I'm going to be very careful with this because you really don't need a lot of this product. I just use a very small amount like this, and I'm just going to put a little bit right here and maybe some right here and some right here. This is going to be enough. And then do I need to conceal anything else? Maybe let's take the concealer a little bit in the middle of my nose. And I mean, the foundation did do a pretty good job in covering up most of my redness. So I don't really have to conceal that much anymore, but I'm still gonna just put it a little bit over this problem area right here, and maybe also just a little bit right here. So I'm just gonna take my sponge to blend this out. You could also use a brush, you know, doesn't really matter. It has a lot of coverage and it also just blends out like a dream. Okay, so the next step would be to put something on my eyelids. Now, I never use like a standard concealer to put on my eyelids, and because we are gonna be, you know, doing a full face where I do want to apply some eyeshadow products later on in the video, I would go on with an eye primer. However, I really don't like HOURGLASS's eye primer. So this is the Veil eye primer. I did apply this like twice in my life, and each time I ended up really disliking it just because it got into my lashes and it glued them almost together, and I just hated the entire experience of using this product. It almost feels like whipped to the touch, but it's just the weirdest thing in the world to apply it. It has this tack to it too, which is, in my opinion, just a little bit too much. And when it dries down, it just does not look very flattering on me, on my eyes at least. But then at the same time, I feel like it does not have enough coverage. I really don't like the way this blends out. I don't like the way this dries. This also dries down pretty fast. My eyelids look very streaky with this. Everything gets into my eyelashes. It's gonna be a mess. I don't know. I can't make it work. So I'm just gonna use my beloved Sigma eyeshadow base primer. So I'll be back. I'm just gonna apply this and we're gonna cut to when I'm done with this. So let's move on to the next product. Yeah, let's set my face. Let's talk about their powder. So this is the Veil Translucent Setting Powder. This was gifted to me when I shopped something and I did reach a certain amount and the retailer gave me this for free. It's a mini size, so this is not the full size that you getting online. This is like literally 2 grams of the powder. This powder, I don't know. Some people love it, other people don't like it that much. I'm not 100% convinced by this powder. I'm just gonna powder one side of my face first so you can see the difference. I'm gonna use a smaller brush for underneath my eyes and around here. Every time I'm using this powder, I'm always like, oh, I don't know how I'm feeling about this powder. And then I apply the powder and I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. I don't know why I'm making such a fuss about the powder. No idea, because when I apply it actually looks great, especially with the HOURGLASS products underneath it. I feel like if I would use a different foundation, something a little bit more dewy, I don't think I would love it that much. I think this is really good if you're using more of like a matte sort of foundation, something that isn't too dewy, something that isn't too wet, something that isn't too hydrating. Yeah, because when I apply the powder right now, I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty. Oh, I actually like it. It does blur. It definitely has set my makeup, because just look at the difference here. This is with the powder, this is without the powder. It looks really nice. So let's do the other side as well. It is very pretty. My skin looks very, very nice right now. So let's actually move on to the next step. And you guys know I switch it up a little bit. I usually, when I'm done with my base, usually I'm gonna move on to my eyebrows, because I just want them to get out of the way. And I actually do have some eyebrow products by HOURGLASS, but they are so old at this point in time. I don't know if they have expired or not. We're gonna find that out. So let's actually kick it off with the pencil. This pencil actually comes in 9 shades. I've got this in warm brunette, and I do have the normal triangle shaped one. They also have a micro sculpting pencil, which is a little bit thinner. This is actually quite a thick pencil. Is there anything left in here? I used to love this pencil. There is some product left. I'm not sure if this is still good though. You know what, guys? This has gone so dry. Let's just try it for the fun of it. I also really like this brush. This is such a nice spoolie. It's actually really soft. Is it gonna do something? I would not necessarily recommend using something that old on your skin. I almost feel like, because this has dried out, that the color is so much deeper than I remember. But just look at how well this pencil still manages to fill in my eyebrows. And I also used to love their brow gel. And this is the Hourglass Arc Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. Also in the shade Warm Brunette. I don't think we can use this anymore. This has gone bad though. Oh yeah. Ooh. This is so old and it's almost empty because I used to use this before I had my Kosas Airbrow Gel. If I find a video where I'm using this, I'm going to be linking it in my description box below in case you're interested. But today I've got to use the replacement, and that is my beloved Kosas Airbrow Gel. So I'm just going to be applying this brow gel and then we're going to be moving on to the next thing by Hourglass. So let's actually move on to the cheeks. They've got so many amazing products in terms of bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. Oh my gosh, it's a sea of selection and I really have to narrow it down in today's video, but I still wanted to show you different formulas that I might not be able to like apply to my face. They do these like face palettes where you can get a blush, a bronzer and a highlighter for a limited amount of time, and every year during the holiday season they are releasing new color stories. I am not somebody who's gonna pick up one of these each year because I just feel like the very first time around when I picked one of those up, I just found my perfect color combo. I don't personally have the need to pick up any more of these like holiday palettes, but just go and check them out on their website because they are very stunning. However, this one is from 2021, so it's no longer available, but I just wanted to quickly show you this. This is actually the ambient lighting added in the colorway Universe, and I love this sort of like marble reflective pinky packaging. It's so pretty, it's so up my alley. And this is a palette that I actually take with me when I travel. The setup of this one was so perfect. So just look at that. Because when I use this for traveling, I don't have to bring like a separate blush. I don't have to bring a separate bronzer and a highlighter. They are all in one palette and these are stunning. Until this day, I'm using this whenever I'm traveling because it just comes in so handy and I love this palette a lot. But alright, so let's actually move on to one of my favorite bronzers in my entire collection, and I've got so many bronzers, but this one is definitely a standout product. So this is the Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Diffused Bronze Light. I do think they've got 4 or 5 different shades. This is the one that is described as a cool undertone, and I freaking love this bronzer so much. I actually purchased the mini size and I even featured this in my very first full face review of Hourglass. That was a little bit over 3 years ago. And I have Panthers bronzer. It's still the same one and it's still going strong. It looks rough. I mean, you can see here I panned this part of it. Some of the shades you can get in a mini size, others you can't. I have gotten so much use out of this small size product, but if I would repurchase this, I would definitely get like a bigger version of this. But alright, so let's apply the bronzer. I'm just gonna start with my forehead. Why am I doing that? I don't know. Let me also like get rid of the clips because I don't feel like I need them anymore. It's actually easier without them right now. It is definitely not something that pulls too cool toned. Like it's not plummy, it's not gray or any of that. It's still a bronzing shade. It's also not like a flat matte finish. It's gonna give you a little bit of some light reflecting action. It looks very pretty in natural light. It looks amazing under studio light if you're a photographer. I'm gonna get the big one, the full-size version, just because I don't ever want to be without this bronzer ever again. Let's move on to the blushes. I'm going to show you a formula that I'm not going to be applying, but that I dearly love. Like, don't get this the wrong way. Just because I'm not using it in today's video, I have used this in another video. I might be linking that in my description box below as well. So I'm talking about the cream blushes. They've got amazing cream blushes in a stick format. So this is the Vanish Blush Stick. My biggest issue with most cream blushes is the fact that they are too hydrating, too emollient, and my skin just eats them up, and the pigmentation after a couple of hours is just completely gone, and I'm left with like splotchiness on my cheeks. But this formula, my gosh, This is such a long-lasting cream blush on me. I really love them. I think they are so underrated. So this shade is the most recent addition. I actually only have 2 shades. It's the shade Revel, and it's described as a warm scarlet. It is very like poppin', but it's not turning orange on me, which is so good. And then I also have the shade Loyal, which is honestly my favorite shade. It's described as a rose wood shade. It's more of like a neutral sort of brownish pink. You can also apply these on top of powder. I always put my cream blushes on top of a satin powder. And that's just the way I prefer my cream blushes, because otherwise they would just disappear immediately on me. I really want to use a powder blush for today's video. So let's actually move on with the blush that I'm going to be using. And that is the Ambient Lighting Blush. So they've got this formula, the Ambient Lighting Blush, but they also have an Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush. That one is a lot more glowier. This is a little bit shiny, but not over the top. I just feel like it's just gonna give you a little bit of a natural glow. This also comes in 8 different shades. I'm gonna show you the shade that I'm not gonna be applying today. That is the shade At Night that I've got. Almost like a crimson sort of brick red. It has a little bit of orange in there. I actually really like this one, but the one that I want to apply today might just be my favorite one. And that is the shade Mood Exposure, which is actually described as a soft plum. It's a little bit more on the cool tone, sort of mauvey side of things. This is exactly what I like in a blush shade. I really like it. I still feel like on my skin, it really translates to more of like maybe a cool tone pink. It's not that plummy, let's be real. It's really not. These are also not too pigmented, so you can easily just build them up slowly and they just blend out like a dream. I mean, just look at that. That is such a pretty shade. It's not even like a cool tone pink. It's just such a unique color. It's almost leaning a little bit mauvey. This just gives me such a beautiful, fresh sort of cheek. I have been loving these blushes now for quite a long time, and I would definitely recommend these. These are so good. In the next category, it's gonna be the same. I freaking love so many of their powder highlighters. It's gonna be a challenge for me to actually make a decision on which one I actually want to use. I've got so many. Maybe we're gonna apply a couple of different formulas onto my face today, and so I can show you as many as I would like, because apart from that limited edition palette that I just showed you, they also have a permanent, more like highlighting palette, and this is the Ambient Lighting palette. So they've got this in 3 different shades. They are more like depth levels than anything. I've got the lightest one, and the shade that I tend to use the most out of this one is this one in the middle. Incandescent Light. I think this is Radiant Light, and this one is the Dim Light. If I would use a shade out of this, it would be the incandescent one. I think it's the prettiest. I also have 2 other ones. So the other one that I've got is the Ambient Lighting powder in the shade Ethereal Light. Now this is actually marketed as a finishing powder. However, I use them like highlighters. I'm just going to show you this because this is such an interesting one. First off, this is a lot of product here. 10 grams of product. It works beautifully on my skin tone. It is just such a beautiful glow sort of highlighter. I'm using this as a highlighter. You can use this as a finishing powder if you want to. I really feel like as a highlighter, it works a little bit better. At least on my skin, okay? This is a little bit more of a subtle highlighter, you know, because it's marketed as a finishing powder. And then I've also have one of their strobe highlighters. That is the one that has a little bit more of a metallic finish, is a little bit more intense as a highlighter, and that one is definitely not marketed as a finishing powder. So this is the Ambient Strobe Lighting powder. So I have this in the shade Iridescent Strobe Light. If you want something a little bit more beaming, I would say go with the strobe highlighters. So without making this too confusing, I would say let's maybe use this on the tip of my nose. I'm just going to show you what this is actually going to do. Look, it's just going to draw the light to where you want it without being too over the top glowy. And I just love that. It's so subtle yet effective. And I think this works beautifully on the tip of my nose and also on my Cupid's bow. I love this because sometimes a highlighter on your nose can be easily a little bit over the top or too much. And this is just creating such a beautiful illusion. I'm going to show you what the strobe version is looking like. It is more like sort of like a pinky highlighter without being too pink. It is still like translating quite champagne, but it's a little bit more intense. Let's use this on my high points of my cheekbones right here where I would always apply my highlighter. So see, this is just definitely going to be a little bit more reflective, a little bit more metallic, but still it's not over the top. It's still giving you that beautiful wet glow. I think the strobe version, just because it's a little bit more metallic, it has a little bit more punch to it, might just be my favorite one. I also like the one called Incandescent, the one in the middle. Should we use that one? It's not as metallic. See, this is more like, almost like diffused light. Like it's definitely like catching the light, but it's not as punchy. This is definitely more metallic, if you can see what I mean. Oh man, I just love these highlighters, as you can tell. I love them all. I have never been disappointed with any of the highlighters that I've picked up by Hourglass. So I would say that's it for the complexion products, for the color complexions, for the base. So let's move on to the eyes. All right, so for the eye category, I have a couple of things to say before we are starting to apply anything onto my eyes. And that is basically, I don't have their newer eyeshadow palettes just because they are so damn expensive, and I think it is a little bit of a joke that they are at this price point, because I was just looking at how much they were because I couldn't remember. 5 shades, $163. Excuse me? And if you buy 3, you're gonna pay $102. I just don't understand that. That is a product that I would never purchase. But in the past, I actually did purchase one of the eyeshadow palettes, and that one is discontinued now. I don't think it was that much, to be honest. No, it wasn't that much. So also because I have this palette, I am not like crazy to purchase something like this new version of the eyeshadow palettes. I had this one. This was the graphic eyeshadow palette in the colorway Myth. It's a basic neutral palette, okay? Very, very basic. Extremely basic when you're looking at the color story here. But I will say, these are really fantastic. These are such good eyeshadows. So the way I'm going to do this is basically I'm going to be applying this off camera. I'm just going to do a base, and then we are going to be applying some of their beautiful scattered light glitter eyeshadows. All right, you guys, I am back with the semi-finished eye look. I've got to say, every time I am using this little basic eyeshadow palette, I really like the way the look turns out, because I feel like all of these shades work so well in harmony with each other. Yeah, let's actually continue with the more exciting things. Let's use the scattered lights. These are like really, really sparkly, almost like cream to powder kind of formula. It's just such an amazing formula. I really like it. I'm still going to be using a little bit of my glitter glue by NYX just because I gotten into the habit of just always doing that. So I'm just going to apply a little bit where I want to put these scattered lights. So I'm going to go in with the shade Ray, which is my favorite one, all over my lids. This is such a beautiful sort of neutral brown shade. I really, really love it. It's so stunning. It's so wet looking, and the sparkle level on this is surreal. They feel more like a creamy powder, if that makes any sense. You know, it's not like a traditional cream sort of formula. And also, honestly, I don't feel like I want to use a brush to blend them out. I don't think they really require that. I think it's so fine just to go in with your finger to apply them. So now I'm going to proceed to the shade Smoke. It's a little bit more metallic, less sparkly than Ray. I'm just going to apply this into my inner corner here. And this shade is just a little bit of a lighter sort of, it's almost like a champagne. All right, you guys, I really have to say I'm a huge fan of these scattered lights, single shades. I think, over the years, eyeshadows have evolved so much, but these are still some of the best, beautiful, most sparkly, intense, stunning formulas out on the market. And I really think they are worth your money. These won't disappoint you. They look so beautiful. I had this around for a long time and I still feel like that these are performing so well. And I love the eye look. It's very neutral, but it's very pretty. But yeah, no eye look is ever complete without a good mascara. So the one that I adore and the one that I'm going to be applying today is the Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. I mean, I have repurchased this multiple times. Just look, these are two empties, but here is the new one. These are the old ones. And then I also tried out another mascara by them. Luckily enough, I never purchased this one. I had a mini like ages ago, but they had sent me a full-size mascara. I mean, the retailer, where sometimes I get like some free Hourglass gifts, probably the things that don't sell that well. So they gave me this Caution Extreme Lash Mascara for free. I'm so happy I did not spend my money on this because I just remember that I had the mini version that I actually purchased and I never liked this mascara. And so when they gave me an entire one for free, I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna try it out. It's like a really nice brush. It has like traditional sort of like fiber bristles, but I don't like this. This looks so clumpy on me, and it also does not do anything for my lashes. I still don't like it. I think it's not a good mascara, to be honest with you. This Unlocked one, listen, I wish somebody would send me that for free because I'm repurchasing and repurchasing this mascara because this is, in my opinion, the best tubing formula that is out there on the market. So I'm just gonna curl my lashes and then apply the mascara. This has silicone bristles instead of the traditional fiber bristles. I love the shape. This shape is so fantastic. It almost has like a little bit of a bend in between the wand and the brush part of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's apply it. The mascara is applied. I mean, I love this mascara. The way this makes my eyelashes just like it's so separating. I just think this looks so pretty. Every time I'm wearing this mascara, I always feel like my lashes just look so nice. And again, I don't have any issues with this formula. This is smudge proof. It's not gonna smudge. It's not going to transfer. It's not going to be crumbling. So it's not a dry formula or any of that. Really love this. I could only recommend this. Maybe you are looking for a tubing mascara that definitely works. This one does. And I just think it looks phenomenal. I really like the way my lashes look. So that's it basically for my eyes. So let's move on to the next category. And that is going to be the lip category. It's also going to be the final category. And this is also where I have two brand new releases by Hourglass. Hourglass has so many different lip products. It's kind of crazy. I would love to try their volumizing glossy lip balms. Those are definitely on my bucket list, but I don't have any of those. However, I have some other products here. So I've got the Unreal High Shine Volumizing Lip Gloss in two different shades. And let me tell you, this is one of my all-time favorite lip gloss formulas out there. They're super high shine. They've got a lot of pigment. I would love to have more of these. These actually have a little bit of mintiness to them. So if you don't like that, maybe these are not going to be your favorite ones. But honestly, I feel like the mintiness here is very refreshing. It's not like very cooling or very intense. I feel like it's a very nice sort of mint. I have them in two shades. They exist in 18 shades. So there's a lot of different shades here. I have one of my favorite shades of all time in any sort of lip product, and that is the shade Provoke. This is such a beautiful cool tone, sort of beigey shade. And I also have this one, which is the shade Strike. That one is more like a warm sort of nude brown, really. I'm going to be applying both of these so you can see the shades because I don't think I've got another video on my channel where I'm actually applying these. You know, there's a first time for everything. So I'm going to start off with the shade Strike. This shade Strike, such a beautiful, more warm toned sort of brown. I mean, such nice reflection, so shiny. I'm just going to wipe this off and then apply this one. Yeah, I just really love this shade. It's so like lilac, grayy, beigey. It is so hard to find this shade anywhere. And I just really adore these Unreal lip glosses. I want to purchase more of them, believe me. But I'm going to show you two other products that I've got until we're going to be moving on to the new release, but I'm not going to be applying those. So basically, one really old lipstick that I still have by Hourglass is the one that I used in my very first full face. That one is the Confession Ultra Slim High Intensity Refillable Lipstick. This one comes in 40 shades. I've got this in the shade I'll Never Stop, which is like a peachy sort of brown shade. It's almost like a satin lipstick. It's a nice formula, however, this did contain a little bit of perfume, and their new lipsticks don't have any fragrance added to them. Last year they brought out these lipsticks, and they are called Unlocked Satin Cream Lipsticks. They should have just called them cream lipsticks, because this is one of the most moisturizing formulas I've ever used, but not necessarily in the best way possible. I wasn't the biggest fan of this, also because when I looked at the shade online and then I got the shade that I ordered, I was just like put off a little bit because there was quite some discrepancy in between what was shown online and the real color. I have this, what shade is this? Alpine 304. This shade and this formula, not my favorite ones. So this is super peachy pink. It's a lot warmer than it looked in the picture. It is just too wet, too emollient in my opinion, you know, so I'm not the biggest fan. So I'm gonna just wipe off the swatches and then we're gonna move on to, you know, the new releases. So we are talking about a lip liner and a matte lipstick, and that is literally the combo that I want to put on for today's video. So let's start off with the brand new lip liner. So this is the Shape Sculpt Lip Liner. Now these exist in 7 different shades, and in the beginning I was not sure which shade I would want to try out, so I just picked up the shade Candid 5, and that one is described as a true chestnut on their website. I don't think this is like chestnutty, like it's a very rosy, reddish sort of brown. This is a weird lip liner, if I may say. I was a little bit thrown off by this formula in the beginning because I have never experienced a lip liner like this. Usually I do prefer my lip liners to be a little bit creamier. This is not creamy. This is also not stiff. It's almost like powdery. It's almost powdery to a point where you don't have enough time to blend this out. If you want to feather it out, it's a little bit more difficult because it's almost like self-setting. It's very hard to, you know, brush it out. So I'm gonna start maybe with my lower lip. Does not want to be blended out. It just almost feels like it goes patchy on me the minute I'm trying to blend it out. So really, I think this is more of a contouring thing than anything. Like, I don't think this is a lip liner that loves to be applied all over the lips. I'm gonna go over with the lipstick in a second anyway, but just know that this is what you're gonna be dealing with this lip liner. I don't think it's the most user-friendly lip liner in the world, but if you need something that is literally long wearing, that you just are going to use to contour your lips with, you may really like this. So let's move on to one of the last products. Like, this is also a new release, but I keep on forgetting that I have a setting spray. I actually forgot to put on the setting spray before the mascara, so we have to do it at the end. So the next one is their brand new matte lipstick formula. So this is the Unlocked Soft Matte Lipstick. This comes in 12 shades again. I just picked up one shade, and that is the shade Sparrow 350. And the shade Sparrow is described as a neutral deep rose shade. I actually really like this. This formula is so nice because it's so not drying. So I'm just gonna apply it and you can see for yourself. The shade is, as described, a neutral deep rose, and I think it like works really well with that lip liner Candid 5. It feels almost like whipped. It's so, so nice on the lips. I really freaking love the lip. The outcome of it is so, so nice. But yeah, when I see the lip liner alone, I don't like it, but these two products combined with each other, stunning. Really, really pretty. And before we are concluding this video, let's not forget one of the best products, and this is their setting spray. I freaking love this stuff. This is the Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. This really does something, you know, it's not just adding hydration or glow to your skin. Oh, no, no, no. This is going to make sure that your makeup stays on for a very, very long time. And this is the only setting spray that I have a backup of. I love this so much. My mom is actually using this and she never used setting sprays. But she once asked me, is there any like thing that I can do to like prolong the wear time of my makeup? And I said to her, this Hourglass one, my bottle looks very much used because I use this so, so much. It's just so good. First off, I love the sprayer. You don't need a lot. This literally, it's gonna look like you put a filter over your skin. It is damn good and I love it. I'm gonna apply it. So I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Here is the sprayer. Ooh, it's gonna give you like a soft focus glow to the skin. Is just kind of surreal. If I go to an event or like a concert and I don't want my makeup to budge, I'm using this. And also this just feels so lightweight on the skin. You know, it's not like something that is pulling or tugging your skin. You can't even feel this, but it's just so effective. Again, as I said, I have a lot of products that I do adore by Hourglass. This video was so, so overdue. And just by looking at the look, I freaking love the outcome. I think this makeup is very, very pretty. So I would be really curious to know if you have tried out any of the products featured in today's video, or if there is another hidden gem by Hourglass that I still have to try out. Please do drop me a comment down below. Also, don't forget to check out my description box. And if you did enjoy this video, or if you just found it helpful or entertaining, why not give it a thumbs up? Also, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you on here a little bit longer. And don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.